Hey guys, welcome to today's video. This is part 2 in my series where I'm going to try and help explain every club's draft hand and some options that their list manager might explore when the draft rolls around. So episode 2 we did Adelaide prior, we're going to do Brizzy today. Let's get into it. So Brizzy's draft this year is going to revolve a lot around when a bid for their Next Gen Academy player Dan Annable gets bid on. I don't know if you've seen my previous videos, but I've done a previous video with Dan Annable where the picks land and basically where your compo pick falls through. So I just want to go through, explain how this works, and give you an idea of what type of picks Brizzy are going to be looking at for their next 2 picks. That's the one that's going to change. I think no matter which way you split it, you're going to end up with Dan Annable, and the 2 following picks are the ones that matter. Now, you're probably saying to yourself, look, they've got like 8 picks here. Why are you only talking about the 2 picks that follow? That's because they haven't got enough list spots. Okay, so in the off season, they've dropped 8 players from their current list. That's through retirements, delistings, and being traded and free agency. So they've lost Brandon Starcevich and Cal Archie. Starcevich has been traded to the Eagles. Archie's going to join Adelaide through the draft that follows the national draft. Oscar McInerney retired, so did Sam Day. 2 players called Brandon Ryan and Darcy Craven were delisted. Devon Robinson was delisted. He's going to be joining West Coast as an undrafted free agent. And Lincoln McCarthy also got delisted, but he's Brizzy have already said they're going to bring him back on as a rookie player. So basically that means his base salary won't count against the salary cap. Everything after $100,000 does. So it would lead to me believe that he's one of the lesser paid players at the minute, just probably due to his injury. It's pretty handy when he's on the field. Now they're bringing in Oscar Allen, Sam Draper, Ben Murphy, who's an Irish Gaelic star. He's a Category B rookie, and they've brought in obviously Lincoln McCarthy that I just explained. So 8 out, 4 back in. That leaves you 4 spots. I would leave 1 for a train-on player, someone to come through the supplementary period. So that'll be that last spot that they fill out, and that leaves 3 remaining list spots for this draft. So that's why I've got these green boxes up here around 17, 23, and 44. We'll just go through how the draft can play out, and then I want to explain to you where your second 2 picks can fall. Okay, so I've got the draft board here. Everyone's expecting William Dersman to go pick 1. Okay, and then they're expecting them to bid on Zeke Hewlin, who's the second best player in this class. Now, the bidding system works that West Coast have used pick 2, which is 2,481 points. Gold Coast have the option to match that bid. They get a 10% discount because they've trained him up for the last few years. That equals 2,233. Now, to match that bid, they have to use the most valuable pick in sequence. So their best pick at the moment is pick 15, and that's worth 973, followed by pick 18 and pick 24. We add all them up, gives us 2,430, and then they've got a little bit of change left over. So the AFL is going to give them that change back, and they're going to give them a compensation pick worth that many points, 197. As long as they can afford it, it'll be the next point down. So I'll show you. We've got 197 points. It's going to be inserted below Sydney and above Carlton down the back here. 197 points falls between these 2 picks here, 42 and 43. Remember, 24, 18, and 15 are all going to get burnt, so that'll get pushed up a little bit. Okay, so we'll execute that Zeke Hewlin one. And this is going to also affect how many points Brizzy have. I want to show that as well. So at the moment, before the Zeke Hewlin trade goes through, they've got 1,756 points. That's going to go up due to your tail end draft picks earning a little bit of extra value as those 3 Gold Coast picks get burnt. Okay, let's go through. We've now got 1,820 points to match a Dan Annable bid. And you can see the draft pick here, compensation for Zeke Hewlin, put in between Sydney and Carlton. Okay, so now this is where the Brizzy fans are going to be keeping a close eye on where Dan Annable gets bid on. Okay, it depends on if the Eagles want to really stick it to Brizzy or if they just want to let it go, get their guy, and move on. But I want to go through, say, the first 7 or 8 picks, and I'll show you your next 2 picks that you're left with after Annable has been matched. Because I think at this point we can all agree that Annable will end up a Brizzy Lion. There's not too many situations. There isn't a situation where I can see, nah, we're not going to match it. You take him. I think that they want that elite prospect, and if they don't take that elite prospect, the next best option is wait until pick 17. Okay, so let's look at West Coast bidding them for pick 3, which is worth 2,178 points. Brizzy can match it at 1960. Okay, now at this point, they've only got 1820 points, like I explained, because they gained a few points from ZQ and getting bid. That's going to require an additional 140 points. Now, at the end of this video, I'm going to show you the trade simulator, and we can look at potential options they can get for that 140. I think this is unlikely. I don't think West Coast are going to bid on him at pick 3, but it's just to give you guys an idea of what will be required if that's what happens. Okay, so here I've got matched bid with deficit. Now, what that means is Brisbane can give all the picks that have a point index value, which will be anything within the first 54 picks. Okay, so if we go down the list here, pick 54 is the lowest pick with a points allocation. That's got 14 points. So everything after 55 onwards is a 0. That won't get deducted if the Brizzy want to go into deficit. They will consume all of their picks prior to that, 17, 22, 43, and 50. And they'll be left with 58 onwards, okay? But because they haven't paid enough, they're going to borrow those points from next year's draft hand. So Brizzy will go into next year with a deficit of 140 points. So to explain that, I'm just going to go under the assumption that Brizzy go through with the 3-peat. They finish with pick 18. There's no father-son academies, all that nonsense. We know that's not the case, but this is just for this example. And Brizzy get pick 18. They've won the premiership. They've got pick 18. In this instance, it's Geelong. Okay, let's for demonstration purposes, we've got 836. They're going to take away 140 points from that allocation, which gives you 696. So that'll push Brizzy's first rounder back to pick between 21 and 22. So it'll become 22. All right. The reason West Coast can do this is because there's a good chance of West Coast finishing dead last and Brizzy finishing first, which would give them back-to-back picks. So forcing Brizzy to go into a deficit will push West Coast's pick up one slot, effectively. West Coast's second rounder will be in front of Brisbane's first rounder. Okay, so that's the only reason West Coast would really consider doing this, I think. I think they rate a few other players higher, but they can do it if they wanted to. So that is what we're looking at with a bid on at pick 3. I've got to get rid of, I've given them a whole bunch of points they didn't deserve. Here we go, let's go back. Geelong. Okay, so there we go. There's that deficit, 140 points. Brizzy going to deficit for next year. Brizzy's first rounder falls behind West Coast second rounder, and we carry on with the draft. Okay. Now, let's give you the scenario if Annable gets picked on pick 4. Okay, so they haven't bothered with that. Eagles have just gone ahead. They've drafted Cooper Duff Tytler for pick 2. This time it's Richmond on the clock. They want Annable. Pick 4, okay? So in this instance, you've got enough points to match. You're going to have to use your first 4 points. As I said, every pick before pick 54. And you've got 54 over. You're paying 54 points over, and you're going to get a pick around the 52 mark. I think that'll fall around pick 50 when everything moves up. Let's have a look. So if he gets bid on pick 4, you're looking at remaining usable picks at 49 and 56. They're the picks you're going to use to fill out your list. Your compensation pick ends up to mean 49. Okay, what did we say? Around 55. So with all the burnt picks, so 49, 56 is what you end up with for your next 2 picks. If you go at pick 4, let's undo that. Let's look at pick 5. Okay, so Richmond are going to try and get Patterson instead. In this instance, Gold Coast are going to burn all their usable picks again with the points allocation, and then go into a little bit of a deficit. And then we're going to take Annable. This is what Brisbane fans are looking for with pick 5. Okay, you're using the same picks at the start, but your compensation pick is going to go up. You're ending up with 45 and 46. Okay, bit better. In this instance, you could probably look at trading up a few more spots, 2 picks back to back. Maybe someone wants a, let's say Collingwood again is another good option. They've got a ruckman they need to match a bid on, things like that. Okay, so let's go Annable at pick 6. The bid comes in for Annable at pick 6. We'll undo that. Let's say Richmond, they just want to get their guy, Sullivan Roby, and then they'll try their luck with Annable. Same again, your compo pick moves up. So we said 46 and 49. It's now 39 and 46. Okay, so you're moving up the draft board a bit. Just that one draft spot up the top end, it affects your points that much. You're moving your back end pick three spots forward, and you're moving your first pick 7 spots forward. So that's 10 players worth of difference there. I hope that makes a little bit of sense. Okay, next scenario, we're going Annable's getting picked in at pick 7. Okay, so Richmond's not going to worry about Annable there. They're going to take Taylor. Essendon are going to put the bid in for Annable now. Same again. Compo moves up a little bit more. You're using less picks. You're using 18 and 23. You're not using the 40 anymore. So you're going to keep that pick 40. That's moved up a little bit because you've burnt 2 picks, and you've now got 39 and 46. So that one doesn't really change too much for you. Okay, between 6 and 7, you're going to get roughly the same result. And then you basically get a better return from here on out. I can do pick 8 for you. Let's say Essendon want Harry Dean, which is quite possible. Carlton will have to burn their 2 first picks. 18 and 23. 39 and 42. So you've moved that back pick up 4 spots. So it's only one player's going in front of Annable, but it helps you guys out by 4 slots if that makes sense. Okay, so I think the consensus range for Annable is between 3 and 6. He's generally regarded as a top 5 player in this class, so that's just something I wanted you guys to be aware of. Let's go, for argument's sake, he gets bid on at pick 5, and we'll see what hand we ended up with. This Dersma, Ewell, and Duff Tyler Patterson has been, it's either Duff Tyler and Roby are pretty interchangeable, but this top 4 has been pretty consensus for a little while from what I've seen. Let's put Annable at pick 5 and just revisit what you end up with. So you got 45 and 46. So if you were to try and trade up, there's not a lot you can really do with it. As you can see, these green picks are the ones that everyone's using. You kind of, Freo won't use that 45 and 46. They got pick 40. Collingwood's probably your best bet. If you can get 39, that will make that pick 55 unusable. St Kilda, that's not going to help them. Essendon will be well and truly out of the draft by the time that pick rolls around. So, yeah, Collingwood's the only real option. You're going to be stuck with about 2 picks in your mid-40s and Dan Annable. So that's the trade hand that Brizzy are looking at this year. We can explore this one. Just Collingwood improve a little bit. Pick 45 and 46, move up to pick 39, execute that trade, and you'll see for Collingwood, the only reason this benefits Collingwood is because they get an extra pick in this little window between 34 and 50, and it makes 55 an unusable pick. There you go. We've now got 4 picks between 34 and 50 for Collingwoods to fill out their list, and you guys move up to 39, and you've just changed your 45, 46, whatever it was, to 53. All right, so those are just some options that I think Brizzy can use. Let me know who. I think we're all pretty happy that Annable's going to Brizzy. Let me know who you guys think they'll be taking with their back-end picks. I want to show you some players in the player pool. They've got a couple of academy players down the back that they might look at. Let's bring up Brizzy. Tyan Prindable and a ruckman called Isaac Waller. I've got draft range of 50 to 57, so that might be a second pickup, okay? And Tyan Prindable as well, utility out of the academy. 2-role player, covers the line, similar to Josh Dunkley. These comparisons can be a bit how you're going, but it kind of just gives you a gist of what the scouting reports have been saying online for them. Yeah, so those would be the 2 other options I think Brizzy could look at for their last one, unless they've got some random no-name that I don't know about in their sites. That is Brizzy's draft hand preview. If you got this far, thank you very much for taking a look. Send through your comments who you think they might look at. Yeah, if you could like and subscribe, that would be greatly appreciated. Thank you very much. Have a nice day.